Good evening, everybody. Rob Smith, member of the Board of Directors and the current serving president for the Almond Glen Owners Association. It is June the 19th, 2020, and it's that time of year when we start talking about having the annual meeting. Obviously, we didn't know what was going to happen with the annual meeting, but with things the way they are, we're going to go ahead and try to proceed with the meeting. We've moved it from July the 13th. It's now going to be July the 20th, and you should have received in the mail a letter which will tell you when the meeting is, give you some details, and also some information on proxies. There's been confusion on proxies in the past. I want to make sure I'm very clear on how proxies work for our neighborhood. The way a proxy works is you can't make it to the meeting. You do want to have your voice heard in the form of a vote, so you send the proxy with a trusted neighbor. That person goes to the annual meeting with your proxy in hand. Their vote now counts for their own vote and for your vote. Proxies are one per household. It must be sent by the owner and signed off on by the owner. So if you're a renter, unfortunately, you cannot vote. However, you can attend the meeting if you'd like to hear the state of things and get an idea of who's going to be this next year's board. We still value your input and opinion. One thing that's been some confusion about proxies, if you fail to send in a proxy, or if you don't come to the meeting at all, you just don't participate in any way whatsoever, then you just don't have a vote. There's no automatic assignment of votes. In the past, there was some confusion where people thought that I automatically, as the president of the board, had votes for people who didn't show up. That is not what happens. If you get a proxy in the mail and you look at it and you say, I don't know anybody on the board and I'm not really interested in, I want my vote heard and I want to help out, but I don't want to be there. And you just mail the proxy back in with nobody named as your proxy, those votes defer automatically to the president of the board. I don't think I've ever got one of those. Maybe one in the past, I can't really remember. I encourage all of the board members to run. I encourage anybody who's interested in getting up and saying, hey, I want to have my voice heard on a little bit higher level. I want to be able to make decisions within the community. I encourage you to run for the board. It's merely a matter of coming in and saying, I want to participate. I know for sure we will lose Katie this year. She moved out of the neighborhood, and God love her, she's stayed with us and helped out with getting things done, coming from a pretty good distance away. I think she's about 35-40 minutes away from us now, and she's still helped out. So we won't get Katie back next year. So I know for sure at least one person is not running for the board. So if you're interested, this would be the time. You can get your name out there through nominations. I'll open up the YouTube platform. If you're somebody who wants to take the time to make a "This is who I am" video and you want to get that over to me, I will be happy to post that to our YouTube platform. If you'd like to send us something through the almondglenhoa@gmail.com website, just saying, hey, I'm planning to run for the board and here's a little bit of information about myself. Could you post this up? I'll do that. We've done candidate pages in the past. I'm happy to do that again. If you're running for the board, I will give you equal billing to get your voice heard with any of the board members. Meeting is going to be, again, July the 20th. We will start the meeting at 6:30 p.m. That'll be a mostly just kind of an overview, state of the budget. This is how things are going. Generally, that's our treasurer who speaks, so I hope that Eric will be able to speak on that. Usually answer a few questions, things that are kind of, why can't we do this? Why have we done that? That kind of thing. Take the votes at 7 p.m. We have the candidates have an opportunity to say, this is who I am, if they want to stand up and talk real quick, get the votes counted. And while we're doing that, in the past, I've stood up and just kind of answered questions while we wait for the tally. And then once it's counted up, we, just like any other part of democracy, we have a peaceful transition. The new people coming in, I'll announce all the names and hand off everything to the incoming board. All positions are up, so we do this every year. It's a 1-year serve or term of service, and then you stand up and say, there's no term limits, but we do have to be reelected. All officer positions are up for a reelection, so the president, the vice president, the treasurer, and the secretary all need to be reelected, and then we'll go from there. So any questions or anything about what's going on with the annual meeting, please feel free to reach out to either almondglenhoa@gmail.com or go to the almondglenhoa.com website. On there, you'll find Ashley Ramesher's name and her phone number and her email. You can email her. I encourage you to always CC the board, the almondglenhoa@gmail.com, whenever you email Ashley, so that we can be there to kind of follow up, include the board, and you also probably get a response faster, because if we see it, I'll respond back very quickly, and what the board says goes anyways. Ashley doesn't run anything. She merely funnels your questions back to us where we give you information. So we are the one-stop shop for giving you all the info you need, and we're happy to do so. Final thing I want to throw out there, obviously COVID-19 is a thing. So this year, you can email in your proxies if you'd like to. If you know somebody who's running for the board, you think they should run for the board, give them your proxy if you can't make it. Masks are encouraged, though we will follow the rules of our state. If the state has a order in place saying that everyone must wear a mask, then we will follow the rules of the state and we'll tell you to wear a mask. If you choose not to wear a mask, that is your personal choice. That is, again, totally up to whatever is going on in the state. As far as recommendations, we'll go with the CDC's recommendations. CDC recommends that you wear a mask, so we will highly recommend a mask, though we are not requiring it. Same thing for social distancing. We will highly recommend social distancing. We will meet in the grassy area up around the pool. There's plenty of room there to kind of spread out. I'll make sure to have the loudspeaker system up there so that we can be heard over a distance. We'll try to be as safe as possible. We'll keep the meeting as short as possible so we can keep exposure down, and hopefully we'll have a quick, good meeting. It'll be great. Yeah, July the 20th. Let's do what we do in a democracy. Let's vote. Let's figure out who we want to make the decisions for the next year. So it's gonna be great. See you guys there.